Good morning, everybody. How are you? Good. So today, I think we are supposed to continue. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Last time, I think we had a chance to listen to the poem from me reading it and from other people singing or even reciting it. Plus, you had ample time to look at the poem and to respond. So today we're starting by listening to one or two of your responses. Then I'm going to further ask you some questions related to the poem, related to its content, to its aesthetics, and then I'll be discussing the aesthetic elements myself. Okay? Let's see. Yes, please.
Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Sonnet 18 is one of the best known sonnets contained in the English literary canon. It is a conventional Shakespearean sonnet that explores a conventional theme in an original way. Shakespeare uses this poem or this sonnet to exalt poetry and his beloved. The poem begins with rhetorical questions to present the suggestion of the comparison between his friend and a summer's day. The rhetorical questions, of course, with no answer because no way to compare his friend with the summer's day, which incense his friend more lovely and temperate. Though summer is the most lovable season, and Shakespeare refused at the same time to compare it with his friend. In other words, he just picked the summer day, which is beautiful and natural scene, to manifest that his friend's beauty more than the beauties of the summer's day. So Shakespeare in these lines, at the first one, especially the first lines, began to list the unpleasant features that probable to happen during the summer day. As Shakespeare has used the eternal means, lines of poetry to prove the death, but will not take his friend, because as long as his life continues, his friend will be of everlasting memorial. Talking about the theme, it might be about the immortality of his beloved through the eternal lines or in his sonnet. The use of the figurative speech is clearly seen, the metaphor, simile, the personification, and the alliteration. Finally, I want to talk about the Shakespearean sonnet. It is printed in as an unbroken 14 lines poem rather than as two sections of 8 lines and 6 lines. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. This is more than initial response. She has the courage to go and to look at certain aesthetic aspects. Okay, there is space for another response. Yes, please. Is it for the first time? Okay, you come here.
Shall I Compare Thee is a poem wrote by Shakespeare, the great Elizabethan writer, an actor, and playwright. And he wrote a sonnet. Wow, Shakespeare has a great number of plays and great drama and great number of sonnets. Anybody can easily know who is Shakespeare. Shakespeare in his sonnet make like a nice gift to his friend to express his loyalty and how he is care about her. He introduced his poem by asking her a question which hold lovely and romantic meaning. The poem is full of musical tune. Summer in England is beautiful and full of nice roses and blossom trees and sunshine and great nice smell from the nature. When he make a question, he introduced his respect for his friend, and if he found beautiful elements, he will remember her and imagine her around in a beautiful scene of beauty and happy, and he will remember her. The language seems simple and common, and he described the beauty of summer, and he saw her inside the sunshine or the blossom trees. The tone of the poem it reflects his happiness of the beauty and shyness of the summer days. Also, the boy tries to immortalize the beauty of his friend, but he cannot, because life is mortal and we all will die. So he decided to immortalize her beauty by his poetry among the generations. In addition, he uses a lot of figure of speech to support his happiness of summer. I think his friend deserves this beautiful poem. It's clear from his respect for her, and he has enjoyed to share with her the beautiful of summer days.
Okay, so I think we have a poet who is very sincere to his friend, and he's trying to do something to his friend. You know, I say to his because this sonnet is addressed to his friend William Harvey, who was a favorite of like Queen Elizabeth. I mean, there are a lot of arguments about who is W.H., but most of the critics, agree that it is William Harvey, a close friend to Shakespeare, and he was dedicating this poem like to him. Now, I'm just like I know it's not like the layout, but it's good like to look at. If you all want to fix it, you can. So now Shakespeare at the beginning of this poem is asking question: shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Do you think he's comparing? It's a question, but is Shakespeare going to compare? No. Okay, why? So it's very tricky. He's asking a question, and all of us think that he's comparing. Is he comparing? No. But he's rather what? Contrasting. He's not showing similarities, but he's showing differences. Now the question is, what reasons, yes, does Shakespeare have for not comparing? Why, does he decline to compare? You know what's mean decline? Just refuse. Why does he decline to compare the beauty of his friend to the beauty of summer? You can just make a list. Thank you, Ola. Yeah, I think it is good. Yes, you can make a small list. Why would he, not like to compare? Why you think? You just make a list and you will see. Yes? Yes?
Because Shakespeare thinks that summer's beauty is fragile and can fade
yes.
so quickly, and it's followed by winter, so it's not immortal.
Mm-hmm. He thinks that
the summer beauty is fragile and it can be shaken, so it's not it's going to fade at last.
Yeah. So what he wants to say that summers, like the beauty of summer, is evanescent, is short-lived. It is brief. It is temporal. So the beauty of summer is short-lived, very evanescent, very temporal. Okay. So, this one reason. Another reason, like why? So what's wrong with summer? It is short. Huh? What else?
Hot.
It is hot. It is hot and cold at the same time. It is changeable. It is not consistent. So when we are talking about summer, it is changeable. It is fluctuating. I like the word fluctuating. Sometimes it is like hot, sometimes it is cold, so it is not consistent. What else?
The wind.
The wind. What's wrong with the wind?
Not merciful.
Not merciful. The winds are cruel. Yes, look at this image. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May. rough winds here. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May. It's an image of horror. It's an image of death. Yeah, and it is like massive because the buds. Of course, this is, I know it is, it seems like a personification, but the whole image is a metonymy of death sweeping the lives of people. In the Elizabethan time, they were concerned with the idea of death. So here, yes, summer is what? Is cruel. Is cruel. Is ruthless. Ruthless means very cruel. Cruel? Sorry? Means ruthless. Yes, what else? Do you have other things? Why he wouldn't like to compare? Yes, please.
Yes, the beauty of the summer by the sunshine is not lasting because it will be covered and done by the clouds.
So the sun, which is part of the summer's beauty, is not permanent. It is like sometimes it is there, sometimes it disappears. So again, the idea of consistency is absent. What else?
Soon summer will be changed by either by chance or by the natural course of decay. So
summer is liable to decay. Summer is liable to decay, is liable to death. Again, all these ideas are repeated, but every time we have a fresh image. But it seems like there is a problem here. Don't you think? Like when somebody is having all these forces of death, and he's concerned about the beauty of his friend, so he should be looking for an alternative. You see? I mean, it's a dilemma. You know what's mean a dilemma? It's a problem. And Shakespeare should find out a way out of this dilemma, to, let's say, to keep the beauty of his friend. Because, he thinks that the beauty of his friend was different, and it should be preserved also in a different way. It is not like the beauty of summer. I think, this poem is, we might admire the poet for his sincerity. This is like a very sincere emotion from a friend to a friend. Okay, let's look at the poem, and I think you read it aloud at home. Now, shall I compare thee to a summer's day? This is a question. What kind of question it is? It is a rhetorical question. Now, okay, it's a rhetorical question, but what are the implications of the rhetorical questions? When he says, shall I compare thee to a summer's day?
There's no way to compare the summer.
Okay, there is nowhere to compare. Yes?
Shakespeare is not sure to compare the summer day with the beauty of his friend.
Yeah, he's not sure to compare because he thinks that the beauty of his friend is more consistent. Yes, Anna?
he's maybe confused or in a dilemma, like you said, that if he has the right to compare his friend to the summer's day.
So yes, I like this, Ala, because, it seems like he was in the mood of reflection, and he was a little bit, confused, about the best way to, immortalize his friend. So he started by a reflective mood and saying, shall I compare thee to a summer's day? And then suddenly he realized, no, I'm not going to do that. Why? Because thou art more lovely and more temperate. So now he started contrasting. The tricky thing is in refusing to compare, he started to contrast, to show how, they are, the beauty of summer and the beauty of his friend, how they are discrepant. You know what's mean discrepant? Different. Let me write the word discrepant. Discrepant. Oh, yeah, okay. Okay, come on, manage. Yeah. Discrepant, as you see, something different. Is it clear? No. Okay, discrepant means something different. Okay. Okay, it's clear. Okay, I don't care. Yes, discrepant means different. Okay, in what way? In what way it is discrepant? It is, no, they are more lovely and more temperate. It is like temperate, it is balanced. So the idea of balance, we saw the idea of balance, if you remember in Spencer, we saw the idea of balance in Sydney. So the idea of balance was something valuable in the Elizabethan time. So to be balanced was something, good. Balance, Okay, now let's go back to the poem. So rough winds do shake the darling. Now he's going to justify why he wouldn't compare. He says, rough winds do shake the darling buds of May. Rough winds. Of course, it's a personification here. But if you look at it again, rough winds do shake the darling buds of May. It's a very frightening image. And we said, yes?
He says that the rough wind will destroy everything in the summer season. That will destroy the buds of May. But summer will be changed, summer will be destroyed, but his friend beauty will still forever. So
yeah, but like here, he says rough winds in summer, because in England, summer is not like our summer stable. It is fluctuating, as we said. So usually it is very stormy in summer. And what happens to the burgeoning, to the newly budding buds, those innocent, those soft buds are fragile. They can be easily shaken off. Look here, the disparity. Look, the disparity between, like in power, between those innocent buds and like those rough winds. Of course, the rough winds might be a metonymy for death itself, the forces of death. And the buds is a metonymy of what? People. Very, reflective image and very frightening at the same time. And summer's lease. Again, here, he's adding another reason why he wouldn't compare. And summer's lease hath all too short a date. What does it mean, lease? Of course, lease here is like a vacation, but he means time. Summer's time has too short a date. So what does he mean? Summer is too short. And in England, summer is like only 2 months. Summer and spring, are conflated together. And it's only, like 2 months. People like in get excited, but suddenly it disappears. And here, as you see, one of the reasons, or another reasons why he wouldn't, it is the brevity of summer. And what is brief also to the Elizabethan was not valuable. What is brief was not valuable. And summer's leaf hath all too short a date. Again, he's adding more reasons. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines. Look, Shakespeare is playing with sometime. Sometime, at certain time, too hot, and sometimes, we know that sometimes it's an adverb of frequency. You know what's mean adverbs of frequency? What is an adverb of frequency? What is an adverb of frequency? Could you just tell me what are the adverbs of frequency? Huh? Yes. Like always? Can you just like arrange them by order? Which is more like frequent? Usually?
Always.
No, always, usually, often, sometimes. No, you have between them, we have repeatedly, occasionally, and then rarely, so repeatedly. Frequently, sorry. Okay, Khalid, don't worry. Repeatedly. Okay. Do not respond. Leave me alone. I don't know what happened. Okay, and so on. These are adverbs of frequency. Repeatedly, hardly, okay, So when he says sometimes, it means like this has to do with what? Fluctuation. This has to do with, changeability. Like the beauty of summer is not stable, is not fixed. So what is not stable, what is not brief, what is, is not valued in the Elizabethan time. And often, like sometimes too hot the eye of heaven shines. And often his old complexion dimmed. So he's talking about the sun.
Yeah.
What kind of figure of speech do you have here? Yeah, the eye of heaven, here, it's a metaphor. But like, culturally, like when you think of the sun as an eye of heaven, like, I know it's a metaphor, but like, what does this mean to us or to English people? Do you think we might share the same cultural connotation, or? Yeah, because, yes? Yes, I know, but like here, the sun, the eye of heaven, the sun. You think, here, they value the sun very much. Why? Because in England, the sun is always dear. It doesn't appear a lot, so they say the eye of heaven sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often his old complexion dimmed. So the idea of changeability is there. The idea of brevity is there. And every fair from fair, I see, and every fair from fair sometime declines. How should we read this line? How should we read this line? I know, but how should we read it? And every fair from fair sometime declines, like this? Sadly? Yes. How would you read it? I want somebody to come here and to read it. Do you have the nerves to come here? Let's see. Who has the nerves to come here and to read this line? And every fair from fair sometime declines. Yes? No, I want like you to come and say, to read this. Yes? I say, who has the courage? Who has the nerves? Okay, I read it like differently and you vote for which one. And every fair from fair sometime declines. No. Okay. And every fair from fair sometime declines. So why no? Why no?
There is no sadness in my.
You think there is sadness? So, and every fair from fair sometime declines. It's like this?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think he's sad about summer. It's like
No, he's here when he say, and every fair from fair sometime declines.
But the eternal beauty of his friend will never fade. So he's like comparing that his friend will not fade. So he's not sad about this. He's happy about that things will
So it should be like, and every fair from fair sometime declines? I don't think so. Because, here, he's in a mood of like reflection, because this is a frightening thing. I don't think, he's relaxed. This is very disconcerting. This is very worrying. So it should be, and every fair from fair sometime declines. Very, he's meditating. He's meditating. And look at the alliteration. And every fair from fair sometime declines. Very disgusting, very frightening. I think, you can translate this into Arabic. Anybody can translate into Arabic like this line? Yes? Okay, دوام الحال من المحال. Can you improve that translation? Yes? I like وكل جمال إلى زوال. It's very musical. وكل جمال إلى زوال. Yes, it should be like this. And every fair from fair sometime declines. How? Shakespeare is telling us by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. By chance. Who's a chance? Chance. Yes. Fate. It is a medieval image of a blind woman sitting behind a wheel and turning the wheel. So it is not sure where you are placed. It is something random, chance. So chance means like things are unpredictable. You don't know for sure what will happen to you. So chance is like very frightening thing. Or nature's changing course untrimmed. So the course of nature, like this is a metonymy of natural disasters. Natural disasters are, untrimmed. You know what's mean trimmed? When things, like when you go and like when we go and trim our hair or our, like we make it equal. So when things are untrimmed, it means, some of them are equal, some of them are large, small, so they are unequal. So what he wants to say that the disasters, the natural disasters are unpredictable and they are not similar in size. So some disasters are horrifying, like tsunamis, earthquakes, All these are untrimmed natural disasters or, catastrophes. Now, in this stanza, Shakespeare, in front of all those meditative images, he said, but thy eternal summer shall not fade. Yeah, but thy eternal summer. Look here, the summer, the beauty of his friend is becoming summer itself. Summer. He started by, comparing the beauty But like, the beauty of his friend is becoming a different summer. But thy eternal summer. Why? Look here. Thy eternal. So this is very assertive mood. But thy eternal summer shall not fade. Do you think, when we read this, how should we read it? But thy eternal summer shall not fade? Huh? It should have strong. Why? Because he's confident. He's pledging. You know what's mean pledging? To pledge. To pledge. To vow. He's vowing. So it should be like, yeah, I want you to help me reading it. Come on. But thy eternal summer shall not fade. But thy, yes? But thy eternal summer shall not fade. Is it like this? Or stronger. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest. So your beauty, your eternal summer will never fade. So summer is compared to a plant. Look at this metaphor, which will never fade. Why it is eternal? Because, it will never fade. Why will it never fade? Because it is eternal. But why it is eternal, it's the other question. And I think the answer will be revealed at the end of the poem. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest, you have. Nor shall death brag that wondrous in his shade. Nor shall death. Death, in the Elizabethan time was very frightening. And Shakespeare here is using a biblical image. Nor shall death brag that wondrous in his shade. Because death, according to the Bible, it will, death will be conceited. Look at them, I inflicted all of them dead. Shakespeare imagined that, and he was terrified, No, death shall never brag. Brag? What does it mean, brag? To feel proud, to boast. Look at me. To be arrogant, bragging. Is it good to brag? No? So don't brag next time. But you can say, okay, I am the most brilliant student. You can brag. Not for a long time. Nor shall death brag. Look here, nor. Because he's vowing. Shakespeare here is asserting. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest, nor shall death brag that wonders in his shade. Where in eternal lines to time thou growest. He's explaining how. You are going to live, to grow in my poetry. Look here, he's using a metaphor which we called grafting metaphor. You know what's mean grafting? What is grafting? To graft, graft something, farmers, if they want, to add, to graft, to connect two types, of plants, they might, graft it and do it together. This is grafting. You have here one branch, and then they add, another stem, and this is grafting. So here, this newly grafted will sprout, will go large. Why? Because it will take here. So here the image that the summer of his friend will grow. Why? Because it is going to be grafted in his poetry. That's why we call this is a grafting metaphor. when in eternal lines to time that growest. And the eternal lines, it's a metonymy of his poetry. Thank you. It's a metonymy of his poetry. So long, now this is the couplet. So long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long live this, and this gives life to thee. You see? It's the conclusion. Do you believe Shakespeare? Why? Like Shakespeare here, is very rational, because he thinks that the beauty of his friend will be remembered, eternalized, as long as his poetry, as long as people, do exist, on this earth. You see what I mean? So I think Shakespeare here, is he exaggerating?
He's confident.
But he's confident. Why? Because he thinks that his poetry will be read. He was confident of his artistic skill. He thought that people would continue reading. And here, Shakespeare is being read, reproduced. His plays are reproduced every year. Now it's been for more than 500 years. And like England and Shakespeare are conflated together. So Shakespeare was confident that his poetry will be read. And when it will be read, his friend. Now we kept asking, who is this friend? Why? Because, so this is how he immortalized. But look here. Yes, lucky friend. So long as men can breathe, as long as breathe or eyes can see. So he's limiting his, hopes for immortality, like only to the life on this earth. So he was more rational and less ambitious than, Spencer, if you remember. So long live this, and this gives life to thee. See? So here in the couplet, he's giving his final solution. Like, yes, my poetry will eternize you. So we discover then that the poem is about what? So after reading the poem and after analyzing it, it's about what? It's about, it could be about friendship, it could be about beauty, but like at the end of the day, you understand that Shakespeare here, is like trying to immortalize his, the beauty of his friend through his poetry. But I think if we look at it narrowly, Shakespeare is cherishing his poetry, and he thinks that his poetry is, very artistic, and people will be reading it, as long as they. Why? Because it is full. It is poetry in a full sense. Now, I think we explored the poem, but we have not explored it at all. You have something to fill, This poem, you have to look at, the rhyme and the rhythm. It's a Shakespearean sonnet made of 3 quatrains and a couplet. Now, I want you to look at it and to see what he's doing in each quatrain and how he's developing the argument. In the first quatrain, what is he doing? And in the second quatrain, is he repeating the same idea? Is he repeating himself? In the third quatrain, and then in the couplet. Okay? So this is what you have to look at. You have to look at also the rhythm itself. Because you see, the rhyme, okay, it's a sonnet. The rhythm and the rhyme. And try to write a paragraph, just a small paragraph, analyzing, the theme of this poem. This is could be as a homework, a small paragraph. And next time we are reading another poem for Shakespeare, and we might also compare and contrast both of them. Do you have any question? Okay, no questions? Thank you.